Learn to act like a grown woman instead of coming across as a childish girl.
The argument over an email, then the next morning we literally did not speak the entire day.
Listen, men want happy wives. They don't want hardworking wives.
You are single until you get married. Being a lifetime girlfriend is nothing short of embarrassing.
When you marry the right person, it truly does feel like the best decision ever.
There are a lot of men out there who get very insecure around successful women, especially if that successful woman is their spouse.
They know that at any point they could leave you and give another woman the life that they promised you.
Hey, lovebirds, get ready for the hottest tea on marriage. We're spilling real-life lessons from women who've been there, done that, and survived to tell the tale. From what not to do to those heart-melting moments that make you fall in love all over again, this video is packed with spicy, cheesy wisdom. And subscribe for your happy marriage.
Learn to act like a grown woman instead of coming across as a childish girl. Age doesn't always equate to emotional maturity because there are some women in their 40s who still act like they're in high school and they're 15 years old. The difference between a grown woman and a childish girl is that a grown woman is able to manage her emotions, whereas a girl has tantrums because she cannot control those big emotions. A grown woman commands respect from men because of her sophistication and her class, whereas girls act childish to get attention. Grown women only want quality men's attention. They don't care about lower quality men and getting their eyes on her. Whereas a girl wants any male attention, good or bad, and is willing to do anything, including revealing a lot of skin, to get those eyes on her. Check out my stories for more tips on how to attract high caliber men.
Yeah, we was literally arguing almost every other day, y'all. Like over something so small, minor, toothpaste, the toilet paper roll. You know, something the kids did. You know, it was most of the time about minor things, y'all. And it was almost never ending. Like, is this why we got married? And I can even remember our honeymoon. We went to Mexico for 7 days. We had an argument over an email. Then the next morning, we literally did not speak the entire day, y'all. We lost a day on our honeymoon, which was supposed to be a beautiful time for us, y'all. And it just made you, think like, now that I look back on it, 9 times out of 10, it's my wife fighting for our relationship. It's her expressing to me about things that I could do better, things that I can change to help benefit us. And, I had to learn to not be so defensive and not to be so argumentative and, not to listen to respond, but listen to understand what she's saying. That she's not trying to hurt me or trying to hurt us, but she's trying to help us. You know what I'm saying? To be the best couple, to be the best husband and wife that we can possibly be. So once I started looking at it from that standpoint and saying, well, I have to soften my stand with a lot of things and be able to communicate effectively my feelings and not hold that stuff in, because once you hold it in, y'all, it builds up, and you don't want to, have that festering for a long time. So in the long run, it does get better. You just got to stick with it and don't fight it, y'all. Fight for each other, not against each other, all right?
Marriage has taught me to listen and patience. And I can't have everything my way because I used to listen to react, right? When I was young, because we were so young together. I want to get my 2 cents in. But now, after years and years, I listen sometimes not to react at all, but just to be able to know how to love him, be able to give him what he needs. So it has definitely taught me that listening has power. And it helps me be a better woman and wife.
I've been married for 4 years, and the biggest lesson I've learned is you need to maintain your individuality. Marriage taught me that going together will take you way farther than going by yourself, even though you have to be selfish in the process. What my marriage taught me is that I need to focus on me in order to focus on my wife. We are a partnership, and we're going to go a lot farther together. However, if we are not selfish and focused on ourselves first, we can't be the best partner for them. I don't like losing myself in the marriage. Every time I felt like I was losing myself in the marriage, we had huge fights. Every time I felt like I was losing myself in the marriage, I didn't feel fulfilled anymore because I was just being the husband. I was just being the father. I was just being the person everybody needed me to be. So it was having that freedom to be Cole and then come together as Cole de Silva, her husband.
Something you learned in your marriage that you wish you knew before.
Your in-laws are not your friends.
Whoa, direct.
Guns blazing.
You have to ask for everything.
It's better to be alone than lonely.
Communicate before marriage about expectations and feelings.
Age leads to maturity.
Try and move out.
Men are like babies.
Talk about real issues like finances, job, childcare, goals, not just about what your favorite color is.
The person who earns the most has the most power.
The hardest thing to do is live in a joint family.
Don't be too nice.
Hard truths about yourself, your patterns, your insecurities. Work on them. Go to therapy.
The first year is the toughest. Hang in there.
Learning how to let things go and which fights to actually pick.
That it sucks.
You'll never get your old self back.
Your freedom will be gone, especially if your husband is clingy.
It's okay to wait to start a family.
Everything will change after you have children. Partners become roommates.
The importance of not making your husband your only best friend.
I wish I knew this in my first 2 years of marriage. Like, it would have saved me a whole lot of, stress, a lot of anger. Let me share it with you so it can help you. So from beginning of your marriage, you can just hit the ground running. Listen, men want happy wives. They don't want hardworking wives. That is why you see some of the laziest women, their men will be treating them like eggs. See, when you are married, don't be strong. Don't be doing I'm a strong lady. Don't be doing I can sweep the house by myself. I can watch the TV by myself. I can still go to work by myself. I can still pick the kids and come back and cook. Stop doing strong lady. Start being a little bit lazy. Yes, start being a little bit lazy. You will enjoy yourself. I'm telling you. The man will take care of you. He will take care of you. Men like to take care of women. But if you are doing like, you're so strong, you can do everything, you can be pregnant and be washing plates at the same time and fetching water, you'll be doing all those things. Learn how to be a little bit lazy. Let the man not know that you can do all those things. This is a scope. I'm telling you. Let him not know that you can do all those things. Let him feel like, this is just a baby. On a menwa. It's better. Let them see your son in a menwa. Let them see your son that used to do baby. Because if you used to do baby, they will treat you like a baby. But if you do as if I can handle everything by myself, you will handle everything by yourself. So use this my trick now. Don't be doing as if you can do everything. Be doing only small things.
In case your mom forgot to tell you, who you marry will be the #1 indicator of the success that you're going to have, whether it's your fitness or your financials or your education or your career or your family, whatever goals you have, whatever you think, hey, this is success for me, who you marry is going to be the #1 determination on if you're going to hit that or not. Because if you marry a partner who wants to see you be successful, but not more successful than them, they're always going to be doing small things to hold you back. And let's be so for real right now, there are a lot of men out there who get very insecure around successful women, especially if that successful woman is their spouse. They want to see them win, but not win more than them, right? You choose as your co-pilot through life is either going to accelerate you forward or they are going to drag you down. Let me give you an example. This doesn't pertain to me, but pretend it does. If I said, I have the goal of running a marathon by the time I'm 30. Well, my husband and I both work and we have a lot of kids. So I'd have to recognize, hey, taking hours to train is going to put a toll on my husband and put more on his plate to be able to do everything that we do normally. And if I didn't have someone who said, hey, this is important to you, let me help you reach this goal and we'll make this work as a family, I would never have the opportunity to run a marathon. Now, obviously, marriage is all about give and take, and there are times that I'm going to be ahead, there's times my husband's going to be ahead, and we always are a team working together on that. But if you don't marry a teammate, you're not going to reach the goals you want to reach. Change out the marathon for anything, right? Even the number of kids you want to have, for a job, for another degree. If you don't have a partner who is cheering you on and supportive of those goals, it's going to drag you down.
Story time. I will never forget the night that I ended my first marriage. And after 10 years of multiple affairs, of tons of emotional abuse, my FA attachment absolutely had a lot to do with it. I'm not just going to blame it all on him, although he had high narcissistic characteristics, so it was just a crap show. But the night that I ended my marriage, I came to a certain conclusion. I remember as he was asleep on the recliner, like he always was, thinking, Lord, please let me find something on this dude's phone, something solid that will give me like this real reason to leave. Although it was weird, you know, when you're in an abuse situation, it's like the abuse doesn't feel like it's reason enough to leave. It feels like you should be able to handle it or move through it. And that's a really common thing that people experience when they're in abuse. But I remember being like, please, Lord, let me find something. So I took his finger when he was passed out and I put it on the finger ID and opened up a world that I didn't know he was living in. I will always love myself more than I will be afraid of detachment. Let me repeat it for those in the back. I will always love myself more than I fear the pain of detachment. And a lot of you guys out there fear the pain of detachment more than you actually love yourself and respect yourself and believe in your own worth. I will help you if that is the situation you are in. Please reach out to me at thelovedoc.com.
So I've been tagged like crazy in a video from this woman that has gone viral. She was a Mormon, and because of her faith, everything that she had to put in her husband's name. She started businesses, she made all this money, but all of that money was in her husband's name. And after being married for 24 years and getting a divorce, he only paid alimony to her once. She went from living lavishly with this man to having to live in her car and hoping to have enough money to feed her children. Her whole point of her video is to basically warn young women that a man is not a plan and to always have something for yourself. Almost as soon as a little girl is able to hold anything, they put a doll in her hand and they talk to her about taking care of the baby. They put a little kitchen set in her room and teach her to cook and clean. And don't get me wrong, those things are fun and all of that, but notice they don't do any of those things for men. And you wonder why the little boys grow up to be grown men who don't know how to hold a baby, who act like they're afraid to change their own child's diaper, who don't know how to wash a dish or to load a dishwasher. It's always women are conditioned to take care of men, and the men are all about getting money. They want women to feel like their only mission in life is to find a man that you could have babies for and to cook and clean for. These men know what they're doing. They know what they're doing when everything is in their name. They know what they're doing when you're not working. They know that at any point they could leave you and give another woman the life that they promised you. The life that you deserve, the life that you earned. How many women do we have to see who get divorced and get left with nothing before you realize that you got to look out for yourself, because he's not always going to look out for you. Right now, he's going to say that he is because he loves you today. But girl, what about tomorrow?
Women in my family have failed marriages, and here are things I've learned from them. Always love within your own boundaries and never love in a way that will make you regret your own life decisions. My grandpa literally became a prisoner of war, and my grandma stayed through all of it, brought him weekly home-cooked meals to this prison that was hours away from her house, and raised his 4 children. She never once entertained another man or anything for her own happiness. 10 years later, once he got out, he barely appreciated it, and he would actually get mad at her when she brought it up. Do not be fooled into marrying a man because of his charisma and entertainment value in your life. My dad is literally so charismatic. So when my mom met him at 16 and coming from a broken home herself, he brought so much joy to her life that she felt like he was the one. Not only did he bring joy to her life, but everyone around her. Because he was so magnetic, everyone in his life would just do things for him or give him things. Because of that, he never became the man that my mom needed. Everywhere we went, people just fell in love with my dad, and they never recognized all the unsaid labor that my mom went through to build our home and our family. A man who has the intention of cheating will cheat no matter who you are and what you do. My grandma was literally the perfect wife. She kept perfect measurements. She dressed like a local celebrity. She raised their children and found time to work and provide for the family. She always made home-cooked meals. She could speak 3 languages. All of my grandpa's friends literally envied him and wished that they could be with her. And yet, in her darkest times, when she needed him most, he was literally at a brothel.
Hey sis, I am back with tip 11. And tip 11 is, if you don't discuss money, money will disgust you. Listen, when we first got married, we had no idea how to manage our finances. We were not good stewards of the monies that God blessed us with. We were not on the same page. We didn't have open communication regarding money. We didn't know what to do. No one taught us how to partner together and grow this thing so that we can become partners and grow our finances to be what God wanted them to be. We understood after years later that our finances, the way that we managed our finances, was an act of worship and that we needed God in our finances. Listen, so if this is you, take a moment, have a conversation about finances. Don't let it be taboo. Show up and be intentional with this in your marriage.
Hi, good morning. I'm officially divorced, 32 and starting over, and here are some of the things that I have learned. A man will show you in many ways if he wants you, and if he doesn't show you that he wants you, leave. The first time. Okay, maybe the second time, but pay close attention to the tiny things in the beginning of the relationship that kind of like rub you a little bit. You're like, wait, I didn't like that. Pay attention to those things, because those are the things that are going to compound over time, and it will eventually lead to a breakup and or a divorce, because they're not going to change. They're not going to change. They very seldom do. And last but absolutely not least, if he tells you that he is not the man for you, believe him. Believe him the first time. Because he knows who he is, and he knows who he's showing to you, and he knows he ain't shit. He knows. So believe him. He knows that he's pretending. He knows he's playing games, and he knows. Find yourself another man. This one can go, okay? Okay.
After almost 25 years of marriage and having raised 2 great kids, 14 months ago, I found myself completely alone. And here is what I have learned about being alone. September of 2023, both of my boys left home for university. And November of 2023, my marriage of almost 25 years ended. So I went from being a family of 4 to just me. Being completely alone felt weird to me. It felt uncomfortable. It felt unfamiliar. My husband had traveled a lot. He was a long-haul airline pilot, so we had spent a lot of time apart, but when he was gone, I always had my kids here. So this feeling of being completely alone was very foreign to me. This, over the last 14 months, is what I have come to realize and come to learn. That being alone is not the same as being lonely. And you can be alone and not be lonely. I was lonelier in my marriage than I was when I found myself completely alone. That was such a relief when my marriage ended, to not feel that like bone-crushing loneliness that I did inside my marriage in the last couple of years. I had to suddenly figure out who I was, and a big part of that was reconnecting with the things that made me happy, the things that brought me joy. Getting back to yoga, hiking with my girlfriends, spending more time in nature, joining a new yoga studio, really diving into my business with both feet. And I have really come to love my own company, and I love a balance between spending time with friends and connecting with people, and then having the peace and quiet and the solitude here in my house. It's been such a joy.
I've been married for 4 months, and I want to share with you guys some things I've learned already in the last 4 months. Number 1, when you marry the right person, it truly does feel like the best decision ever. And I feel like I had so many fears going into marriage of so many things that people had projected on me or told me about marriage. But when I married Caleb and I married my best friend, it has been literally amazing. And yes, there are so many things to think about before you get married. Like, obviously, don't just marry anybody. But if you marry the right person, it literally should just be nothing but better. It should enhance your life, and the person should ultimately make you better. And I really feel like that's what Caleb's done. Number 2, you guys know how people always say, like, the enemy hates marriage. Well, he definitely does. It's really crazy how our marriage can be so good, and it's all the outside things that try to come in and try to divide us and cause all this, like, tension between us. And when you're aware of that, you're able to like nip it in the butt and be like, nope, we're not allowing that. But sometimes it'd be your own family and your own friends trying to come between you guys. Number 3, even though a lot of people see the highlight reels and how amazing, you know, marriage is, definitely there's moments where it is tough. Like, you are literally building a life together. You're making huge decisions, and it really becomes just you two. You guys become one. And so you have to try to be mindful of not letting other people's opinions or all these different things come in. And so, yes, there's moments of hardness, which I don't want anyone to think that marriage is like roses and daisies, but it's also so amazing. Like, it's worth it with the right person. And so even though we've had hard moments, none of them have been like, oh my gosh, we should have never gotten married, anything like that. It's just been like dumb, petty fights. So I feel like, A, I don't want to portray that marriage is perfect, but B, I don't want anyone to think that marriage is only hard either. Number 4, marriage definitely changes friendships. So I've been married, like I said, for 4 months. And in the beginning, I was like, no, I'm going to hang out with everybody all the time. And I had so many of my single friends be like, you better not disappear when you get married. And slowly but surely, like, so many people don't reach out to me anymore. And then also, I feel like my desire for certain friendships just have changed. And we hang out with more married people. And I still have a lot of single friends in my life, but we more hang out with married people. And so it's kind of this weird inevitable thing that kind of happens where your friendships just naturally change and who you hang out with. And friendships is just a whole thing when you get married. And if you're newlywed, like, let me know if friendships change for you, but it definitely changed for us. And number 5, it really has made me a better person. If you're with the right person, they really should sharpen you and refine you, and sometimes in the most painful way possible. But I really feel like marriage has made me better. It's made me wiser, and he really has helped me in so many facets of my life. And so I pray, if you're dating, engage, or if you're wanting to date, find someone that truly makes you better. If you are a newlywed, let me know some things that you are learning as well.
Okay, y'all. So I was working at the dental clinic and I was checking out a patient, and I'm just, you know, having casual chit chat. And I gave her a compliment on her wedding ring. It was big, it was pretty, and I told her I like her, you know, ring. And of course she said thank you, and she asked me, was I married? I said no. She said, you have kids? And I said no. She said, okay, well, as a single girl, always remember that you are single until you get married. No matter what nobody tells you, you are single until you get married. Being a lifetime girlfriend is nothing short of embarrassing. And I'm looking at her like, what? She said being a long-term girlfriend is nothing short of embarrassing. And I'm like, what do you mean? You know? And so we just kind of getting, you know, deeper into conversation. And then she was like, it's the commitment portion. It's, you know, the partnership. It's, you know, like in younger terms, like you're locked in, you know, with a person. You know, being their long-term girlfriend, it's like, what does that really mean to you? As a woman, being a long-term, she was asking me, as a woman, what does being a long-term girlfriend mean to you? And she looked at me. And I'm like, no, marriage is definitely the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, marriage is definitely the goal. A man got 2 years to ask me to marry him. 2 years. Because let's be real. There is nothing that you haven't showed that man in those 2 years that you are wife material, regardless of whatever he's looking for. A woman that's a good cook, a woman who's a supportive woman, a woman who is good with kids, a woman who know how to balance the checkbook, a woman who gonna make sure the bills get paid, a woman who gonna make sure the house is ran a certain way. All those things you done showed that man in the first 2 years. If he do not marry you, he's playing games, you know. But I was just shocked at what she said. She was just like, being a long-term girlfriend is nothing short of embarrassment. You are single until you are married. And I said, say no more, sis.
This is so crazy, but I've actually been married for 7 years, and I thought I would just go through all the things that I've learned in 7 years. If you're new here, my name's Shamiha. Let's just get straight into it. So I got married really, really young. When I was 23, my husband was 21. And one of the first things that I learned is that if your man is not obsessed with you, it's not going to work. You cannot be obsessed with him. He has to be obsessed with you. And it's not that he loves me more than I love him, but because he's still obsessed with me, I get so much love and affection from him that it kind of just balances out. I feel like a woman loves more naturally than a man anyway. So I feel like for a man to love you for a whole lifetime, he needs to be obsessed with you. If you're planning to spend an eternity together and you get married in your 20s, be prepared that you're both going to change a lot. Even if you get married in your 30s, like, we're humans, we're constantly evolving, and you both have to keep up with each other and make sure that you're committed to loving the newer version of the person that you married. And there's no point, like before, I used to say to my husband, oh, you're not the person that I married, and it's like, he's not the person that I married. And I think that after being married for 7 years, I've learned to commit to love the newer version of my husband every single day, and that's what makes it work. As cringe as this sounds, if you're not being intimate, then your relationship is not working, and there's nothing you can tell me to change my mind on that. And of course, there are so many things in life that can make it difficult, and it's about sticking with each other and committing to each other to make time for it to happen. Like, literally, me and my husband have survived me having brain surgery, us being on like medication for depression and anxiety, which really affects your libido, and having a kid. But you have to be committed to wanting to be intimate with each other, otherwise your relationship is just going to have more arguments and it's not going to work out. And lastly, you need to have time to do your own things. You can't be so codependent that your husband is like your absolute everything, and even if you have kids, like, it cannot be everything. You need to have your own interests. And I think one of the reasons why me and my husband work so well is that we're really supportive of each other's interests. Like, he's into like anime and I'm into painting and autism and making TikToks. But if you have any more questions and if you want me to film a video with him, then let me know. But I just thought I'd let you know.